Yo, what's up, Johnny? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Give me 5 more minutes. Can you hold the fort?
All right, relax. I'll let me pull you down.
Yeah, pull me down. Give me 5 minutes.
All right.
Two captains.
Hey, I think I got us now. Hold on a second. We got too many, hold on, let me pull that one down. There we go. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
What's happening, buddy?
What's happening?
Oh, not much. Just chilling out in the backyard, relaxing. A beautiful sunny day in Southern California. How about you? No, tomorrow.
Oh, well, just got off a stream with Seven. He was asking me until I find the cave, so I said okay. And here's two guys. RG called me, got me right as I was sitting in front of the computer. So here's round two, guys.
Yeah, man. What were you guys chatting about?
Well, a lot to do with you know, the changes in the system, and we talked a lot about eHex and how it's kind of like the closest to the door, and how that the ratios can fluctuate because right now the OA doesn't have any coins to set a ratio.
No.
So they can't really set a ratio because it's all staked. So with new players coming in, I say eHex is kind of the retailometer, right? It's the closest to the entryway for everybody to come in. So if you watch it closely, you can tell when retail's about to arrive. And we talked a little bit about how retail did arrive there for a little bit, and there was the Solana mania, but people came in and got punched in the face real quick, so they kind of left. So we're still waiting for retail to arrive, and we're basically at a party 4 hours early. You know, the DJ hasn't showed up. The dancing girls haven't got here yet. Nobody's here. Just a couple guys sitting at the table, drinking beers, going, "This party sucks," not realizing that the party, you know, we're 4 hours early before the party even begins. And I was just telling people, don't be that guy that leaves the party an hour before it starts. And then, you know, you get all the epic posts from, you know, all your friends showing, "Dude, this was the party of a century. And weren't you here?" Well, I went home. I left.
Yeah, no, I saw you post and I was like, okay, I'll see if Johnny's going to stream. And so I was sitting there listening to a Bitcoin space. Well, it was really a general crypto space. Wendy was having the deal and the spaces. And, you know, they were talking about, you know, well, is it the top? Did it top out? Is this it? Is this all we're going to see? You know, and I was, you know, this has been a very strange, since the halvening, there's been a lot of strange things happen in crypto. That's for sure. It's been kind of like things have been the same outliers or the same things that happen in most runs are happening, but they're like kind of out of order.
Yeah, it's a little, you know, it's a little jumbled. Yeah,
that's what it seems like anyway.
We hit a top before we should have. We hit 100K before we should have. Then we retraced, and we're back up, broke it again. You know, a lot of people are thinking that it could be a double top.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Kind of like what set that off. Like, you know, it was about a year ago. You know, how far into the halvening are we now? Like, what? No, it's going to be what the halvening happened in April. Is that when it happened? When did the halvening happen?
I don't even remember anymore, man. I'm not watching the charts. I'm not having a care in the world. I'm just letting this shit play out because I know retail's coming sooner or later. I'm not even sweating it at this point because it's like, you know, you will wreck your brain trying to figure out, you know, what's going to happen when, you know, I remember when we were talking, you know, we didn't think Bitcoin was going to break 100K. We thought it was, you know, we didn't, you know, last cycle it's like, nah, that's, you know, it's too heavy at that point. It's just never going to do it. You know, it's like, you know, and a lot of the things with the exchanges and stuff looked familiar and everything, and we didn't expect it to do that. We didn't expect X to hit 55 cents. You know, that came out of nowhere and blew us away too. So it's like you just beat yourself up about it. You know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the ride.
Well, let's go back and kind of like what kicked it off. You know, right after the halvening, I started seeing a lot of moves as far as OTC trades go with Bitcoin, like monster moves, and all that is stopped after as soon as BlackRock announced its as soon as BlackRock announced that it had its Bitcoin reserves and everything, everybody was like, what? And then all of a sudden we started seeing things move, and then we went 60 70K, and then boom boom boom, and then little retracement, and then boom 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 back to 100, up to 100K and over, and then Ethereum didn't follow up, didn't follow through, and then the meme coin experience happened, and then that pushed the market in a whole different direction. And
Solana came in and stole market share from Ethereum, and it became the new hot chain for everybody.
Exactly.
To get
Exactly.
And we never really had anything. We had EOS, but EOS really never challenged Ethereum for its crown.
Yeah.
And Solana actually effectively did steal some market share. And I mean, I know we generally geared around Pulse and Pulse, but a lot of people don't know about that. We didn't have any mainstream support. So Solana is actually an example of what happens when a new layer one has mainstream support and is in the faces of everybody's reach, as to where we've been kind of pushed off to the side, and nobody's really focusing on us yet. There, we have to be at least 2 years old to really be a viable network sort of scenario. To start getting those listings, start getting people into Pulse, and seeing it as a viable viable layer one.
Well, yeah, it definitely hasn't had its day. I mean, we can see that, but the market in general, with Ethereum being where it's at, even after its event that they just had in Denver, is a little surprising to me. But I don't know. Everything's all of the news has been positive. Haven't seen it move much with the news, other than like geopolitical news has made oh, look, someone just said Hex is now back on Matcha.
Is it back on Matcha?
Yep. Well, that's what I'm Crypto Butler just said that. So now that's possible. Can we get another verification of that? But that would be great. Getting relisted on Uniswap was good. That happened. Yep.
So that's something that actually hurt the progress of PEX too, was because even if people were looking for it, they couldn't find it, because they certainly don't want to get over to Pulse yet. So that was one of the things me and Seven were talking about, was, when we were talking about things moving closer and tighter together, that was before we were banned from everybody's eyesight, right? And which you actually, which gave us a little bit of faith, was seeing that people were using the MetaMask swap, because they weren't able to find it. So we were still top 5 traded token via MetaMask swap, mostly probably because people didn't know how to find it otherwise. So that was kind of an interesting little backdoor that allowed people to find it that didn't know how to bypass Uniswap's front end and use eHex.com.
Oh yeah, it's too difficult for the outside user to find it and jump in. There, somebody just sold 14.3 million Hex. Nice.
Really? eHex or PHex?
Oh, I didn't see. It looked like PHex.
I don't think it's eHex, because we just hit 0.004. Half a penny is coming quick.
Man.
There you are. Half a penny's coming back quick.
Yep. Well, it's definitely a wishy-washy. I'm glad the news is all out though, and I get. Did you see today? posted, Yahoo Finance even posted that Richard got exonerated, you know, from the SEC's charges via the judge.
It's
Which,
funny how they're listing it, though. I mean, and if you search it, so Hexo pulled it up. You know, we still got articles that say, yeah, but he's still a fugitive. You know,
yeah,
he's not been convicted of a crime. You know, so it's just really funny that people want to spin this stuff. He's not been convicted of a crime. You know, if you make $1 billion, yes, somebody's going to try to claim some taxes on you. Doesn't matter where you're at. And you know, and if somebody jumps
well,
up in your face, you smack
and
them.
then,
You know, assaults happen daily.
yeah, and that was, and that was, yeah, gosh, man. And that was just, you know, and that's just a red alert from an, you know, what was it, Interpol that put that
Yeah.
out, or, I mean, and that's kind of, and then, like you said, the news was that Richard took this money, right? And that's obviously not the truth. And even the judge, you know, mentioned that well, she mentioned that he didn't take anything from U.S. investors, and he actually had done what he said, and they had failed to show how he had done that.
They failed to make a claim.
Yeah, and then still they use that to go after him for taxes. You know, it's like they don't know. And again, because, you know, crypto's a gray area, and they can't really see or define, you know,
And
what
it's
it is or who it
unrealized
is,
gain. If it never left the chain, it's unrealized gains too, isn't it?
right?
You
So
know,
how can you, if you're holding it, you know, and it hasn't turned into long-term, well, I guess it would be long-term capital gains now, and they can kind of define what it is, you know, but how do they know? Well, they don't know. They don't. And
well,
that's,
again, is it money if it hasn't left the chain? So I mean, there's plenty for them to debate there on who owes who what and whatever, and his lawyers to get it straightened out. Me and Seven were laughing. We said it's like going through a bad divorce. Yeah, you're gonna quit on the guy's product because he's having a bad divorce. He's about to get a divorce from Finland. That's what's about to happen. So you
yeah,
know,
I mean, the US might end up being the place to go to.
it might be. It might be. He might get a pardon from Trump himself. Who knows? Maybe he'll support his campaign.
He's definitely got it. I mean, what Elon helped with, what, 288 million, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He helped win the election with just that much money. And shoot, he paid what, 4 billion for Twitter, and 288 for the presidency. So
Anyway, the point being is the SEC thing was a big thing to people because it was trying to figure out whether or not Hex was considered a security. Like, regardless of what kind of label you wanted to stick on it anyway, it's still a crypto. It didn't affect anything of anything. What affected it was the uncertainty and people not wanting to act, which is fun because people that are coming in and they recognize the logo and they just click buy, they don't have your bias. So,
no.
you know, they don't have any of this bias. They don't have any of this baggage. You could have been buying eHex all last year and you'd be up now. All last year, just about every single day, you'd be up now on any of that you purchased during that period of time. So, you know, these things go up, they go down. You know, I don't really see where, you know, people get so founder focused. It's just hilarious. The
Well,
rest of the space is not going to enjoy everybody else's adoring admiration. They're going to think you're a cult, and most of the space doesn't like him. But the money that exists outside of the system doesn't care. They might buy the damn logo because it has a color and the name sounds familiar. That's it.
yeah.
You know, and that's the part where people miss. All the wallet watching doesn't matter. You're only looking at money that's in the system. You're looking at the money that's in the system versus the money that's outside the system, right? You know, people are focusing on the wrong things. It's like, look, if you like the thing, buy more of it. If you don't like the thing, get out. Go ahead. There's the door. Sell the bottom. Sell, you know, We're laying on the floor here, man. What? There could be an earthquake. We ain't going nowhere. We're down about as much as we can get. You know,
Yeah, ain't no more down.
where are we going to shake to? You know,
Yeah. Well,
most people don't want to sell at these prices. Why? They bought higher. They don't want to sell at these prices. They want to sell at higher prices. Are we going to get some blowback when we get higher prices? Of course we are. But why give your shit away now? You held, three and a half years. Why now? It's so.
well, like you said, anybody who bought over the year, they're in the black. So
And everything's literally doing this. There was like, oh, we're crashing. No, we're not. We're doing this.
We're skipping across the bottom.
We've been doing this. It's like we're literally. What do you think it's like being first? What do you think it's like? Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Then finally the party will start at some point. We just don't know when. Do you want?
It's going to happen this weekend in Vegas is when the party's going to start.
Yeah, well, definitely there's some parties going on there. That's for sure.
Yeah, this weekend in Vegas is going to be a pretty good celebration. That's going to be cool. It's just being justice being served is going to make everybody happy. Prices be damned right now, but vindication is good. And being able to go to an event like this and hold their head up high and be excited about what's the future holds is going to be good, man. It's going to be good for the community. I think it's going to fire people up. We got to get back out there and do what we did. Show people. Look at that T-share rate, 41.49.5.
Ain't getting those T-shares back.
Oh yeah, I was last night. I was doing some wallet cleanup, just going and cleaning up old wallets and stuff. And I got wallets for all the kids, and I found a nice little 15-year stake that I put out there to give away as a gift. That is holy mackerel, looking really really good. Really really good. And the rate of return on that, with big payday, of course. It's just those stakes are just insane, man. That's the things that people need to be talking about. And of course, it's different now as far as your APY goes. But
that's base level. That's base level. We're working.
Price hasn't moved. Yeah.
Yeah. We reset back down to 2 hex per day per T-share. Remember when we were not even getting 1 hex per day per T-share? We're getting like a fraction of a hex per day per T-share.
Yep. And it just keeps moving up, and that's what it's going to do it again. And it's just going to take time, and people need to realize that as far as how important staking is. And
question. So the CMC lawsuit that we keep asking about, it's still in progress. And frankly, RG actually knows more about it than me because he's actually been in contact with the guys more than me. So literally, again, I paid for the initial complaint, okay, of the cease and desist. And a group of community members took it over, and they are dealing with the attorneys. So literally, I said, Wolves, here's your lunch, go get it. And the community members picked up the tab for the retainer to continue the case. So and yeah, they're going to keep at it because they're hungry, and they don't get paid unless we get paid. So that's what's going on with that. It was declined. Go ahead, talk about it, RG. You tell them.
Well, yeah, it was declined. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter what I say about it, but it was declined in one state. They moved it to another state, and then they were going to try and bring it in California. And so they contacted me, and we were working on that. And then I guess favor graced them, and they decided to keep it in Arizona, which is where it's at now, I believe.
They appealed. And then they got approval. They said, yes, there is relevance to this case. After of course, Binance was kind of A little bit more light was shed on Binance, so
Yeah.
they said, yeah, this is worth taking a look at.
Yeah. So they did, and like with that favorable ruling from the judges, giving them a green light to go ahead. That's where it's at now. My hands aren't. I'm not involved in it at this point, but I know that they've moved it there. They've got favorable. The courts have ruled in their favor to try the case, and now they're going to move forward with it, and that's good. And it's been a long time coming as far as that goes. These things have a way of working themselves out. It just takes time, just like we saw Richard's case. It just takes time, and they don't, these things do not happen quickly. That's for sure. And we haven't seen one.
You can't expect closure. You can't expect like closure, immediately as anything with these cases. So if you guys got problems with legal problems, just sell your bags and go, because there are going to be legal problems wherever there's money. There's going to be legal problems. So you have to you're going to have to suck that up, right? And Richard, being the person that he is a multi-billionaire, okay, on chain, all right? Being the person that he is, he's going to continue to be targeted. That is his life now. Yeah. He's put himself in the spotlight. People know that he has money. He will continue to be targeted for the rest of his life. Frankly, I don't envy any of that.
No, I know you don't.
I don't envy any of that whatsoever. But if you guys are worried that something else is going to happen and create uncertainty, you are definitely right. Something else is going to happen and make you uncertain. If you're having trouble on this roller coaster, maybe you should tap out, because this is a continuous thing. Court cases don't just end. You're going to have more problems along the way, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. And if you make a whole bunch of money, the government's going to be standing there with their hand out wanting their cut. So that's just how it is. There are literally people that are like, oh, I don't want to pay taxes, so I'm just not going to participate. I mean, it's the strangest behavior on the face of the earth. It's like, what other option do you have? Do you want to work for 40 years? You want to bust your ass for 40 years and not have anything left to give kids, or
it's the 40-40-40 plan. 40 hours a week for 40 years to get 40% of what you make.
Yep.
That's what it is. I mean, that's what a working class person makes, or does percentage wise. And it's a hard life. A lot of the people I know that made an honest living don't have a pot to piss in after 30, 35 years in an industry where they busted their asses, and watched the people that own the companies that they work for, buy Ferraris and trips and RVs and stuff, and then you're sitting there with nothing afterwards. But with an asset class like this and yield generating tools, you can do something for yourself, and that's what we had. That's what we have, and getting it out there and showing people what staking means and what it can do for them is, we got to get back to that narrative and showing people how to utilize it. And now there's a whole bunch of other yield generating tools within the system that people can utilize and fairly mitigate their risk. I mean, obviously staking is like the lowest risk yield generating tool that you can use. And then, there's liquidity providing and validating and all those other things.
See, I remember having this conversation with Seven. I didn't bring it up in that particular video, but Hex really needs to be the primary yield bearing asset on Pulse Chain. And with the pools being large and diluted, that helps. We did have a lot of people that did abandon their Hex to go buy ink, right? Or they abandoned their Hex to buy something they could pair with ink, right? We had people that emergency unstaked to go jump in the pool when there was the Hex versus Hex, right? So the OA is trying to guide certain behaviors. The liquidity farms and stuff were primarily to draw what Richard referred to as the liquidity locus. And I think somewhere along the way, people have lost because they want immediate money that they can pull and immediately dump. They don't like the staking concept. So we kind of have like a new generation that was more yield chasing than they were, planning, right? And and Hex is a long-term plan. It's like a 401k or an IRA or something like that nature. It is a different animal than these other gambles. And we got a lesson about how liquidity farms can change, how liquidity pools can be larger, how they can dilute things, right?
Yeah, and the rug pulls too. I mean, people think that it's scam, but it's not scam. It's people jumping into these pools and then pulling their liquidity out. I mean, it's part of the game, and if you get stuck in there when the pool gets drained, you're sitting there with just water up to your waist, and that's
hot potato.
Yeah, it's hot potato. Yeah, hot potato or musical chairs or whatever it is. It's and when you and I are of a certain age, and we were taught early on. I remember when we had the savings account book, and you went to the bank and you wrote in what you put in your savings, and and we learned how to asset manage that way.
Balance the checkbook,
balance checkbook. Make your savings account, write in the book, and all that, and stare at it, and and then go to work, get a pension plan, get a 401k, whatever it is, and you manage your 401k. You never looked at like, oh, hey man, my 401k is going to retire me in 3 years, 2 years,
right.
1 year,
right.
And in crypto, because of how it's moved and fluctuated and its volatility, has created this mentality of that's not how you do things anymore. You need to do that.
You need to update your worldview. You need to update your worldview. No more planning for you. Update your worldview. You got to come meme with us.
Yeah, you
ain't one of the cool kids no more. You got to meme with us.
And what's happened, from CryptoKitties until now, it's been,
oh God, I forgot
it's been a mess.
Put a stress on the network. Oh my God.
It's been a mess. But those were the experiments. We saw ICOs, come in and do rug pulls on people and scam people and Ponzi people and all that stuff. And then, the CryptoKitty incident, and then, and then there was Hourglass Games and, all that kind of crap.
BitConnect, Dabbercoin, whatever that.
And then
something people don't know, we stopped BitConnect from coming back. It was Hexicans that shut down BitConnect X because they tried to bring it back and call it BitConnect X, and we were blasting the shit out of them when they came back with it, and they just
they got hammered.
They deleted the website. So they actually tried to come back out with that. Now, we didn't stop the extra multi copies of SafeMoon and Proof of Weak Hands, which is what SafeMoon was. We weren't able to stop those coming out and the multiple forks of those, but we actually did stop the reincarnation of BitConnect X because we lambasted the shit out of them and they went back into hiding.
Yeah.
So, interesting story that it probably never show up in history.
No, and I mean we had our share of things like Hexy and all that other stuff that jumped in and did all that crap.
Constantly divided the community. Constantly divided. It's like a paramecium, it keeps splitting and dividing off in different directions.
Yep.
And the worst one was Wise. Peter, like all the followers. We were nobody. He had like all the followers. He had the reputation in the crypto space. He had all the followers. Told everybody to dump their bags. It was all over a big payday. Thank God we didn't follow that shit,
There was, and he was the influencer at the time, and that was, it was like
he was the crypto coffee at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was doing well. And then he had like 120 million hex that he said
150 million.
150 million. Yep. And and he made a video. I'm pulling my 150 million. And I remember how concerning all that was at the time because we were all fresh. It was very, very fresh. And and he was making money. Yeah, he was arbitraging off of the adoption amplifier, and when the liquidity was thin at first, he was able to do so for a little bit, and then some benevolent whale came in and fixed the liquidity so that he couldn't do so anymore, and he got mad and took his football, went home, and
Yeah.
destroyed himself.
I have a nicer way of explaining that. It's called market matching. It's called market matching. So at the end of the night, the price, there was a amount of ETH put into the pool to make sure that people weren't just buying it off the pool and dumping it on the open market. So it's market matching. It's something that you do if you have a product. If you're a person that has a product, you don't want the store down the street selling it for half price or a penny over half price because you've got a distributor. So you're selling it to them at half price, and they're supposed to sell it for the same price as you are. Okay. But instead, they're just marketing you up at a penny because they don't care. It's not their product. They're happy to undercut you and devalue your product. So what that's called is market matching. So instead of allowing these couple people to buy up the majority of the supply and turn around and dump it on the market on everybody else's heads and devalue everybody else's holdings, a benevolent character would go in at the end of the night and set the price to the exact same price that it was.
Well, that was for that was for the adoption amplifier, though. Yeah.
Setting it on the market for the exact same price, so that way there was no incentive to continue to just flood the market with coins without taking a loss. If they flooded the market with those coins, what would happen was then the community members were able to buy it up at a discount, and that allowed it to support the price. Just through that first year of the adoption amplifier, where you didn't want to have bad actors manipulating and hoarding up the majority of the supply and continuing to devalue everybody else's bags.
Yeah. So that was during hyperinflation.
That was done during the hyperinflation phase, and that was done to keep people from devaluing the product, which, mind you, during that period of time, it was well below sub-cent. And our prices today, even today on Ethereum is, we get up to half a penny, we're at 100x off the bottom anyway.
Yeah.
So we're 100x off adoption amplifier prices anyway. So you have to look at that in the infancy of the coin, steps were taken so that malicious actors would not damage the rest of the community by just simply setting the price to current market. That's what happened. This recycling the ETH narrative, no. That was protecting the value for all the holders, and people are just not bright enough to understand how that works or how that works in businesses. Maybe they don't own a business. Maybe they don't make products. Maybe they don't understand how that works. Fine. I can see how they can take it like that or assess that, they don't understand what's going on, but that's because they're not in that position to understand it.
Which, once again, shows the benevolence, or just how Richard felt about this project when it was a project, and how he worked to protect it and launch it properly. And even though he was criticized for some of that stuff, it was all healthy. It was all for the better. It was jagged pills for the naysayers, of course, and it showed some odd behaviors to people who didn't understand what was going on, and a lot of us didn't either at the time, because the market makers were centralized exchanges. This was the first time that market makers were communities and whales, and seeing it on Uniswap for the first time, it just, again, on top of showing his benevolence, shows the brilliance of what Richard knew about all that stuff already. So
well, it didn't happen until after day 33. And the reason it didn't happen until day 33 is because there was a flaw in the adoption amplifier that allowed malicious actors to exploit the system. So the OA acted in a behavior that protected the system, protected the value of the coins that people held. So that exploit was discovered because we didn't expect malicious actors to come in with $10,000, $20,000 and just buy to immediately sell on exchanges. We thought through the adoption amplifier, that would be an accumulation phase, and that people wouldn't act maliciously, or they wouldn't be here if they didn't actually believe in the product. But there were people that absolutely could not stand Richard, didn't like the product, wanted to make it look as bad as humanly possible, and they tried to do that by destroying it. And even at some points in time, taking the loss just to kind of prove the point, because they'd already extracted X amount of money through arbitrage. They were trying to maliciously. Yep. So this is a tested ship that many have tried to sink.
Yeah. And to their own demise, because if those guys, for instance, how about that 150 million hex, buddy? How important would that have been in a staking ladder right now? How important would that have been in 5, 10, 15 year stakes? Could you imagine the bags that he could have held? I just saw the clown, and that's the best word I can use to describe him, at a crypto event here in LA just recently. I was very surprised when I saw Peter. I was, at one point I was fuming, and at another point I was just like, I kind of pity the guy. He's up here, schlepping his lending protocol now because Wise got utterly destroyed, and right. He got utterly destroyed. Imagine that 150 million hex, what it could have been, what he could have done with it, and how much more he could have had if he just had that 150 million just to play with.
Just right now, just the eHex side, that is $450,000. Just right now, just the eHex size, he made $20,000.
Yeah.
Today it is worth $450,000. He made $20,000.
What was it at all time highs? That was what, $75 million or something like that.
I don't even. I'll calculate it, but I don't want to. Let's see.
Yeah.
150 million.
It's a 75, right?
Times 0.0. Oh no, it's not a 0.0. 0.56. 56.
Yeah.
$84 million. It was at the top that he sold for $20,000, which 10,000 of that was his. So he was bragging that he made a 2x on his money, and he made $20,000. 10 of it was his, so he made $10,000. At the top, it was $84 million. At today's prices, it's just $450 just on the eHex side. So you're not counting the 5 years worth of yield, the fork, all the airdrops. It gets pretty. It doesn't matter because he ain't got it.
He ain't got it.
He ain't got none of it.
And he used that 20K to go and build a project that tanked.
Yep.
A copy of Hex, by the way, a horrible copy of Hex.
With no OA. So see, that's part of the thing is the OA is part of the recipe, right?
Yes.
And for the OA to work, you have to have a founder that isn't interested in dumping on your heads because he already has enough money. So that is the thing that can't be replicated, because all these people, they're starting crypto businesses. That's what they're doing. They didn't start a crypto to make a point. They didn't start a crypto to make a monument. They're just there to make the money. And just because they're there to make the money doesn't mean, I like to think of it like this. I built a giant dragon head. Why? Because I can. I didn't make it to sell it. I did it because I can. I had something that I could point at and go, yeah, bet you don't got one of those. And most people don't. Why? Because it's a very strange thing to do. Why can't Hex be Richard's thing to say, hey, I built that. Isn't it cool? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people that hide behind the avatars and stuff too, it's like, look, I don't like that. You know why I don't like that? Because if somebody is truly proud of what they created, they're going to want to take their bow. They're going to want to be in the spotlight. They're going to say, I built that. And I remember driving by houses when I was a kid. My dad would be like, yep, I built this house. I built that house. He's very proud of it. We take trips, and that a person is proud of their work. They're not going to hide.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. I mean, that's why we've done what we've done, out here streaming for free. Or costing us, actually.
It costs us. It costs us time with our family. It costs us time in relationships. It costs us friends when they don't understand how crazy we are and the stuff that we're talking about, and we no longer have anything in common with them, or they don't want to hear all the information. They just want to know which button to click, and it doesn't work out for them.
Yeah. No, well, Hex's best days are ahead of it. We haven't seen the best of it yet. We haven't seen the community grow to the size that it will be. It's all playing out. It's all everything that we predicted, worked for. Richard said has been coming true. Now it may not have been coming true in the fashion or as fast as some will have wanted. But when I look at it in perspective of, real world assets and, working for 35, 40 years in one industry and saving and building businesses and buying properties and doing all those things that I did over the years, it's really happened extremely quick. Even crypto itself, being in crypto since 2014, it's all happened very, very quick. Look where Bitcoin is from 2014 to now. It's just, that's not that many years. It's 10 years of, watching an asset class go through some strange stuff, some really extreme behaviors, watching all the Ponzi schemes and scams that have happened in the real world. People think that, this stuff is new. And I keep telling them there's nothing new under the sun. Human beings have been doing the same stupid shit for many, many years. Bernie Madoff everybody said, oh, Sam Bankman-Fried really pulled off the, or caused one of the biggest scams in the world ever, blah, blah, blah. Bernie Madoff pulled that shit off for 20 years before they stopped him. And he was doing the same thing, only he didn't have an asset class that could do that.
He's the chair of the SEC too, wasn't
he? Yeah.
So he was the chair of the SEC, off the biggest scam in history. So, it's just kind of funny, where people get this, idea that, ooh, the authorities. It's like, yeah, well, the authorities can be corrupt too, and they can also be sued too. So, I just find it really interesting that. Well, it's like there's a certain amount of guilt that's you hear these people kind of projecting their guilt. It's like, ooh, I'd be scared if I were you. Yeah, you probably would, because you're probably up to some shit that you shouldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. And there's more value in this space by doing things the right way, by using old financial world techniques and tools and strategies. When we were talking in the beginning, when we were telling, and during the adoption amplifier days, when we first started talking about Hex and building staking ladders and going 5, and when we were talking about those things, we were taking the crypto bro playbook and throwing it in the fire and going, hey, let's do stuff like Munger and Buffett are doing, and long-term investments and things that are good in this space. We all knew that decentralization was the key to protecting your crypto assets, because anything that you were in that was centralized was at risk. Anything that belonged to another human being was at risk. And I think that's why the founders get so much attention, is because, do you remember the ICO days when you'd go to the landing page and you'd scroll down to the bottom and you'd see all the suits and pictures of all the faces of the people that were behind the project and everything. And, that's what everybody was doing. Oh, wait, who's this guy? Well, this guy he came from this part of the tech world and this part of the tech world, and he's been building crypto for this long, and and this guy's connected to the government, and this guy's connected to this and to that. And so everybody was kind of, okay, well, maybe these are the guys that are going to do the right thing, and maybe these are the guys that are going to do the right thing.
Did you read the white paper? Did you read the white paper?
The white paper.
It has a white paper. I don't know what it says, but it has a white paper. Oh, look, it says, oh, big team. Oh, sounds good. Okay, bye. Click buy button. It's so funny.
There was none of that on Hex's white paper. It was just,
Hex
this
came
is
with an instruction manual. We have Hex's layman guide, And it came with an instruction manual because it was a finished product. It actually was programmed to do something, which it does. And that's what makes it unique. And people still don't understand that all this other shit is still other shit, guys. Bitcoin is still pet rock. Okay. Pulse is a copy of Ethereum. Okay. Ethereum is a smart contract thing, and we can build stuff, yes, but the thing is, as far as the coin's concerned, Hex is a very unique animal. Everything's pre-programmed into it. Imagine that. Somebody actually used the Ethereum network to program burning before Ethereum even had any burning, right? Uh, Actually using the programmable part of the money and not in a CBDC sort of way, right? In a self-sovereign sort of way. And that's what makes it
Exactly.
a character. And I look at it like this, man. I think sometimes it's like we're trying to feed broccoli to a bunch of carnivores, right? Or we're trying to go into a casino and talk to people about savings accounts, right? That's the crypto space. It's a casino. We're like trying to talk to people about savings accounts. I'm not 100% sure that the crypto space is ready for a product like Hex. Honestly, I think that's
Well, they
why.
haven't been.
Well, they certainly haven't been up to this point really ready for like a savings product. I look at
Yeah.
this like this. I'm a small business owner. I've got friends that are small business owners and gig workers. You talk to the ladies at the hair salon and stuff. Gig workers, independent workers. We don't have like a 401k to put money into. So this is a viable, self-sovereign, redirected sort of 401k program that we can have for ourselves. Okay, gig workers, professional body painters, artists, whatever. It's something they can use to put money away. Create a savings account. Create something for when they're not able to work, because the pains in your body from being up and down and painting and whether you're a concrete worker or whatever you do, you're not going to want to work forever. You've got to have some sort of savings plan, whether it's in crypto space or whatever. You have to save some money, and these unknown factors are always going to pop up. Some kind of emergency is always going to pop up in your life, and you're going to have to address that. You're going to have to fix it, and you cannot do that in a paycheck to paycheck mindset to begin with. And I think X really helps you reprogram yourself to where you are actually thinking more about the future and trying to plan for the future. So yeah, all right, prices suck right now. Get it. I understand, but this is not money that I'm looking to spend right now anyway. So it doesn't bother me. I'm not excited about high prices. I'm kind of scared of high prices. I don't want to see $1 Hex next month because I'm not in a position to capitalize on it. I'd have to give up a very large position to even try to tap any of that right now. Okay. So it's a different animal, and I don't know if we are in the right market to sell it. I think it really should be kind of a product that is more offered for people that are looking for like a 401k IRA alternative that is self-sovereign thing. And Pulse Chain, again, it's a network. It is a new viable EVM, faster, cheaper gas, allows people to, build a lot of stuff. It's great. I think that could take off, especially if Ethereum fees spike really, really high. But, if it gets really, really popular, we might be looking at another fork. How many times is Bitcoin forked now? We used to call Coinbase fork base. People don't even understand that. We call Coinbase fork base because literally like everything was a fork of Bitcoin, right? So
Now they want to turn it into a strategic reserve.
now we're talking strategic reserve. See, I do not like all this institutionalization that's going on. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. I mean, the Bitcoiners pretty much given up their cypherpunk mentality, and they're just BlackRock buy my bag. I don't like to see in our space. I don't like to see it when everyone's like, Richard, buy my bag back. I don't like to see that in our space either, because that's not it. The idea is if you have something useful, you will gain adoption by finding the right people that actually value it. And then that thing has more value because the users actually start valuing it. If we have a bunch of people that don't value it and they're literally just waiting for an exit, that's not how you go up. That's not how you go up. You grow the network. You grow the network, and that's how you go up. When people are utilizing the thing as it's designed to be used, they're buying up supply, removing it from the market, burning it to create T-shares for future supply, and this is an ongoing sort of cycle, then, hey, it's an awesome product. But if people want to just dump one bag to chase the next green candle and sell the last red candle to buy the next green candle, they're just going to grind themselves up, and there's nothing we can do about it. They're just going to have to grind themselves up.
Yeah. Well, they don't understand the macroeconomics of what they have before them. They literally, like you said, the cypherpunks. When Bitcoin was created, it was created by people who understood what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, and because of how it was built and how it was usurped by the exchanges, by the mining pools, now by the institutions and the governments.
Even the mining companies. Even the mining companies. You got two companies that are making primarily all the mining equipment. You've got two companies that are primarily receiving all the free coins. So everybody else is a consumer.
Yeah. And what's to make you think? Now, look, we've got favorable. We don't have legislation yet. We've got favorable conversations going on about crypto. I'm here to tell you guys that the people that are getting ready to regulate this or let the floodgates open or whatever, they're not in it to help you crypto bros get rich.
No, they're here to use and exploit you like they have done with the traditional system for this whole time. They've got a new tool. They got a new tool to rake you over the coals with, and make sure that money funnels right to the top.
And they've already done it. So they've gotten their foot in the door. Mm-hmm. Now they've got favorable legislation about to be handed to them, and they've already got the crypto bros money. They've got the Bitcoin. They could care less about the little minute minuscule crypto bro that's buying meme coins and shit that's here now. That's not what they want. They want to bring in, and they can, by doing what they're about to do, they can bring the real money in now. Now they can bring the real money in, and that's when the grift is really going to happen. That's when they're going to really make the money. That's when they're going to really take over, and the crypto bros be damned. They're going to get their share. They're not here to help you. BlackRock is not here to help you, crypto bros. I'll tell you that right now.
I got a question for you, RG. So is technically the HEX investment trust an ETF? Is it
technically yes, but it's a private offering. It's not a public offering. Okay. So it doesn't hold the status, and that's just because of price action. Of course, you have to have a certain amount of price action before you can take something like that public. So right now it's only available to accredited investors and whatnot, but it does exist in that format. You know what I mean?
So this is what I'm laughing about is how long has that been out now? Everybody's like screaming, "Oh, we're gonna get a Cardano ETF. We're gonna get an XRP ETF, dude." We've already had it. Whatever.
Yeah, and we've got favorable ruling at this point that shows that HEX is not a security, which is a lower court ruling saying that, well, you failed to prove anything here. So they didn't say that HEX is not a security, but all of the actions that have taken place
failed to prove that it is. They failed
the existence of the HEX investment trust, which operates under the auspices of the SEC. Not that the SEC has given it the ability to operate or function or exist. They haven't come after it. They haven't said that it is a security or anything as such. And it's really done nothing for the price of HEX. It's done nothing for the community. It's done nothing for adoption.
Kind of like these ETFs coming up right now. They have done nothing for Ethereum whatsoever. They're going to do nothing for Solana. They're going to do nothing for XRP. But it's like people need a narrative to pump their bags. No, you don't need a narrative. You don't need a whale. Michael Saylor barely moves Bitcoin these days. He's buying billions of dollars worth. He's barely moving Bitcoin.
And he's at the table now. Did you hear?
No, you have to fill me in.
So I guess today they had a meeting where they brought there was a rumored that, Charles Hoskinson would be part of that group of advisors. But he said, no, I'm not part of the advisors. And then I heard today that Michael Saylor was tapped to be one of the advisors. So again, Fox is in the hen house. And
which is fine, because the government can have all the Bitcoin, the government can have all the Ethereum. I don't really care. That's not even the direction that
it's gold.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that direction, So again, all of these things, all these ETFs are compromised. I just feel like it's compromised, especially when it's government controlled. Bank sponsored big ass things like that. I don't see that as being a positive outcome. I see that getting farther and farther away from the ethos of what crypto was ever meant to be to begin with. The whole stuff.
And it's middleman. It's middleman.
Yeah, and people will say, well, you want us listed on centralized exchanges. Well, it's good to have a product in the impulse aisle in the stores that people already shop. Exactly. That's what I got to say about it.
It's an end cap. Is all it is. It's an end cap.
And I hope we don't I hope they keep overlooking us, because where are you going to go for self-sovereignty and immutability and privacy in the future? And I have a strong feeling that we might be getting privacy in the Pulse ecosystem. And I know this is going to upset the wallet watchers, but again, the problem with the wallet watching is you're only aware of what is in the system. You have a bias to what you are. The amount of knowledge that you have is based strictly on the blockchain, not the money that's outside of the blockchain. So you have all these biases about what's going on, which is just a microcosm of what could happen. When that new money does come in, and the new money will come in, it always does. When that new money comes in, that's going to throw everything off of balance. Yeah. But when you're dreading and you're worrying about this wallet's doing this and this wallet's doing that, and we have the most scrutinized blockchain. It's funny, people like, well, you want to, this is happening, that has happened. We have the most scrutinized blockchain of anybody. We have networks of people that do nothing but watch people's wallets all day and report on everything they do. We've got layers and layers of bots that say anytime anybody does, a whale cannot take a goddamn piss around this place without somebody shoving a microscope up his ass, for God's sakes, okay? And you know what? That actually discourages a lot of big money players, because they don't want you to shove a microscope up their ass, okay? So privacy, I think, would be really nice for Pulse Chain because of just that kind of behavior. And it's nice to say, okay, well, we have the most clear and transparent blockchain on the face of the planet. It's the most scrutinized. It's the most, monitored, and, a whale can't take a piss without you knowing about it. But it's too much, guys, because when people don't understand, they drop into this zone of default fear. When anything scares them, they have analysis paralysis.
And it's double FUD.
They're afraid to act. They're afraid to act because that uncertainty is the stopper. So as we see, BankX, really not that big of a problem. It was a problem because it caused
day one, it was the end of the world.
Because day one, it's been the end of the world. It's been the end of the world ever since, and they've got, they've got 200 million left. Which literally, guys, if you think about that, that is 200 people buying a million hex at $3,000. Think about that. That buys out BankX's bag. That's what's left now. We've gone all the way down to these prices so low that it literally it's 200 people buying a million hex or 20 people buying 10 million hex. You put yourself in a position where the new whale can just come in, and then you're going to have someone totally new to bitch about.
Yep. And they will. There's going to be
and becoming the whale of the future, you have now allowed somebody to come else in and take the opportunity that you were too afraid to pick up.
Yep.
And then it's their fault because you didn't want to take the opportunity, but they did. So I don't know, man. I'm hoping the privacy thing does come into effect, because it's just crazy that the amount of uncertainty and the self-FUD and the building and the compounding and focusing on the wrong things. It's like, and still the red notice. It's like, everyone gets worked up about that. They say he owes some money, and it's a simple assault. That does not warrant being listed on a list with murderers, serial killers, and rapists. Okay? How defaming is that, really? I mean, to be on that list, right? And then people want to say, oh, he's on that list, so he's one of them. No, the guy's got no criminal record. No criminal record. Okay? So Google him. And then Grok's red notice and see how often that's been used politically to exploit people and for shakedowns, right?
Yeah. So, and that's another thing for Richard's products to be talked about like they are in the greater crypto space. I mean, they call it garbage. I mean, guys like Eric Wall call it the stupidest thing he's ever fucking seen, and stuff like that, and why all the attention then? Why work so hard to gatekeep? You don't see other projects getting stuck on page 201 of a coin listing site. You don't see the vitriol, the hate, the lawyers, the SEC, everybody coming at Richard like they did and losing, of course. Every single battle, coming at all of us and losing every single battle. Why so much focus? Why work so hard to try and disparage something that is not disparageable? It's been up for 5. Yeah, it's been up.
Pet rocks look bad. It makes all their pet rocks look bad. They're in the business of selling pet rocks, and they cannot have you showing them something other than pet rocks. They're a pet rock salesman.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely, like Orion says, he's ahead of his time. He was ahead of his time, and they call us a cult. They call us zealots. They call us Richard's fan club or whatever they use to describe us.
Richard or no Richard, I would have still bought Hex because I like its design.
Yeah, and he explained it to us, and he taught us. He's extremely smart. He knew what was going on. He knew how to use DeFi protocols. He knew the importance of a DEX. He knew the importance of, getting it as deep into your hands as he possibly could. Even being able to run the protocols on your own machine, not even having to, go up and tap into another portal somewhere. Literally being able to basically offline do everything you need to do, use the internet as the interface, and make things happen with your own bags, with your own wallet. Nobody controls it, and the decentralization of the Pulse Chain network itself with the validators. I mean, it's just, he's done a really good job, and that's what has made us who we are. This community was the smartest people in crypto. I learned so much from you and Whales and Kinetics and Coffee and all of you guys that came to this community were just so brilliant.
For our therapy session to make sure that we weren't crazy.
Yeah. Because we were like, well, we know that what Richard says is what everybody else has said, but did he really do it? And when we dissected the code, and we had people that read code, and we had even Dev Kyle, who who's taken a backseat, a hiatus of the whole thing, just because he wanted to get away from it all. Was there to explain to us how the T-shares were invented, why they were invented, and the brilliance behind them. And and as we uncovered the onion, we were just like blown away by how good and how how cypherpunk and how crypto hex really was. And nobody understands that that's really our excitement. That's really why we're so zealous about what it is we got our hands on, because nothing else does what it does. No other ecosystem operates like this. And we just want people to know about it, you know, and it's sad to see that people, you know, I go to these Bitcoin events, these crypto events, and somebody will sit down to me and try to explain the MLM of hex to me, why hex is an MLM. And I'm like, are you, wait.
Where's the levels? Where's the levels, dude? Where's the levels?
You're going to sit here and tell me.
Where's your levels? There's no referral program. There is no levels. We've got the flattest pyramid on the face of the planet because it's just you and the code. Here's how tall our pyramid is.
I had a supposed crypto legal expert literally sit down next to me, drunk, of course, and explained to me how Richard was going to jail and I was going to be an accomplice and that our MLM was going to be exposed. And I was like, what you have zero clue of what you're talking about. And the thing is that my community, the people in my community, they know what you guys have your hands on. They know Bitcoin. They know Cardano. They know Ethereum. They know what's going on out there. They did. That's why they came here, because what's going on in here is not what's going on out there. Right. And we're just trying to show you guys, and you won't listen.
That's fine. You won't. They can buy higher.
and they will because Hex hasn't seen its biggest whales come into the system yet. Hex hasn't seen its highest prices yet. That's what we've got. You know, it hasn't seen
one season. We've had one season. That's it.
That's it.
You know, and they haven't changed the jersey because we had one bad season. We've had one season, guys. You know, we came in here and we wanted to know what it could do in 15 years because we knew what Bitcoin could do in 15 years.
And
so the end goal of that was, well, what can it do in 15 years? I mean, seriously, what happens if you do have, look, we can't control where the prices go. The only thing we can control is whether or not we have a bag or not when we find out. That's what we can control. Whether or not we have a bag when we find out. That's what we can control. That's the only control of this we've got.
Exactly. It's because your bag only matters when you sell it. It doesn't matter when you're holding on to it, when the price is fluctuating. None of that matters. Your bag only matters when you're selling it. Or when you're buying. And if you're buying at a discount, then you're feeling good about it. But exactly. And if you're sitting back and it's generating yield, then you're feeling good about it, because the goal is to have more hex in your bag when it's time to sell than you had before while you were waiting for it to go where you want it to go.
Which I don't understand is because the Bitcoiners want to stack sats, right?
Yeah.
They're always here. Stacking sats. Well, we stack sats for free. You paying for yours? Because we can take our yield and buy sats and we get them for free.
See, I could buy a lot more Bitcoin right now than I could have when I first got into this.
Hex makes hex. Hex has a value. You can trade it for whatever you want. Bitcoin by itself does not make more Bitcoin.
Nope.
So what do you want? What do you want to do? If you want Bitcoin, then Hex is a tool to make more Bitcoin, without giving your keys and surrendering your coins to somebody else. And hoping that they pay you a percentage, which so far we have figured out the easiest fucking way to lose your money in crypto is to give somebody else your goddamn coins. And if you haven't figured that out yet, then maybe you should start listening to us. And another thing, RG, I think the biggest problem with our community is because they are smart. They forget that certain things are not common. They have gotten to the point where they just assume people know all that they know, right? So let's roll this back here. First of all, you were putting your ETH in the adoption amplifier. No. Even before then, Bitcoin free claim. We had to sign a signature on a wallet, and people were scared to death that they were going to lose their Bitcoin if they
I remember that.
Starts. Nobody in the fucking crypto space knew how to sign a goddamn signature on their wallet because they never had to before. Because why? Because they use centralized exchanges, and that's not what they do there. They're not actually using crypto as it was designed to be used. So the first thing Richard had us do was to put coins in a self-sovereign wallet. So we had to download a wallet. We had to move our Bitcoin to it, right? And that Bitcoin could have left that wallet at any time after the snapshot. So there was zero chance of actually losing that Bitcoin, because once the snapshot was taken and you got credit for that Bitcoin, you could then move it from that wallet. But we didn't know that, and a lot of people didn't claim their free hex.
Because that's why we had a big payday.
they were afraid because they never signed a signature on their wallet. So that's how crypto illiterate they were. Okay, step 2, you had to deposit your Ethereum into the adoption amplifier. It was gone. You gave it away. Okay, you put it in the adoption amplifier. Your ETH was gone.
Bye.
And you had to hope that you got hex back out of it at the end of the day, that you could go back in and claim. So then you had to go back in and claim. And you know what happens when you claim? You had to pay a transaction.
You mint.
You had to mint, and you had to pay a transaction fee, right? So what is this? What a scam. I've got to pay a transaction fee to enter the adoption amplifier, to get out. What kind of bullshit is this? Is this a scam? What are these fees? What are these fees that I'm paying? So this, I'm telling you guys, today you're like, oh, well, I'm just paying my transaction fee. You get that, right? But at the time, people were not using blockchain as it was intended to be used, right?
And that was also a legal reason to say that you weren't given anything.
No,
you minted and paid for your own coins. You created hex. You could have not created the hex.
Yep.
You could have just let that hex go away. You know, you could have not claimed it. By claiming it, you minted it. You brought it into existence, not Richard. Richard didn't give you any coins. Hex didn't come to you as an airdrop. You minted them.
You ran the code, you made it. And it gets better. It gets better, right? So then guess what happens? We have to find a completely separate website to figure out how to actually use our hex. Because there was no staking website on hex.com. No, you had to go to gohex.win, I believe it was at the time.
Yeah, that was
so
you had to figure out your days. You had to count your days.
So a lot of people were running around, okay? And they're like, why am I not getting any more hex in my wallet? Because they never staked it, because they didn't know that there was another website to go to. So then when you go to the website, right, guess what? There's that transaction fee again. You got to pay a transaction fee to stake your hex. What kind of bullshit is this? Again, we're using the network. Richard was getting lambasted. It's like, why is this fee happening? Why? He's like, you got to pay.
Where's the ETH?
You got to pay for your transaction.
And you weren't paying. You weren't paying Richard, which is, you know, that's what that was the mentality was, you're paying the Ethereum network
to run the transaction. And people were saying, it's all that ETH is going into Richard's wallet, because they did not know how to use a network. They didn't know there was a transaction fee that you had to pay the validators. You see how far you people are ahead and you don't even realize it? So then you go to end your stake, and then guess what? You're paying another transaction fee, and you're like, God, this sucks. What the hell is this? And it's a penny, by the way, at this time.
Yeah. At that time,
we're bitching about a penny, okay? But Hex,
and they were, and this was hexagons.
And Hex was worth a fraction of a penny at the time, okay, guys? But again, this is what we had to go through. Guess what else we had to do? When the Ethereum prices got really, really high, and we saw that as being a problem, we migrated over to Matic. Guess what we had to do for the first time in our lives ever? We had to bridge to this new network.
12 hours.
12, 17 hours, 12 or 17 hours. You're like,
dude.
Did I send a contract to Kiss? Oh, God. Oh, there it is. All right. And then what do you have to do? You have to claim it on the other side of the bridge, right? So 17 hours. 17 hours
of listening to the Hexo cry. Let me tell you. So I told Hexo, I said, bro, come on over to Matic. Let's get some schmatic over here. You can do, it's a better network, blah, blah, blah. And so he bridged over and his shit got stuck. He was stuck for over 24. He was calling me.
I was on the phone with him too, and he was crying. It's like, oh my God, dude. He goes,
I should have never listened to you, RG.
Oh, dude, what am I going to do? It's like, just chill, man. And we were all scared at that time. I mean, Hexo did it in larger amounts. This is why we say if you're using a bridge, you do break it down in smaller amounts and stuff, because we know the stress of that. And and people complain now. Just think about now. From our experience, it could take 17 hours to get over a bridge. New people have never experienced that. So the 30 minutes across the bridge, that is terrifying for them. That is 30 minutes that they don't know whether they got scammed or wallet drained at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's another thing you got to think about, guys. Every time we're sharing links and stuff, people are so terrified to leave the centralized exchanges because they're hearing all these horror stories of all these wallet drainer accounts. And people in the Hex community have fallen for some of these wallet drainer accounts. They've given too many permissions. Somebody creates some kind of DEX that allows unlimited permissions. You still got to be cautious about what you're doing. You might, if you're dumb, you don't have any fear. So that's not bravery. That's just not knowing that you're not smart enough to know that there are actual dangers out there. That's not bravery. Bravery is having the ability to surpass your fear to get the task done. Okay. So sometimes the stupid will win because they don't mind. They just click the buttons and they just say la vie, let's do this. Right. And it's the people that overthink it and they go through analysis paralysis. They are unable to act because they are so hypercritical of everything. I'm hypercritical of a lot of stuff. As you all know me, I'm very hypercritical. But you got to understand, this has been monumentally changing. Now, liquidity pools, guys, that's only like 2 years, liquidity pools is 4 years old, right? 4 or 5 years old. Okay, so liquidity pools are fairly new. People understand order books, but they don't understand the X times Y equals K automated market maker. They don't understand how that functionality or that equation works and how liquidity pools are basically two jars. I mean, I wanted to do like a big thing on explaining liquidity pools with the two jar theory. You take out from one, and according to the ratio, you're able to take X amount out from the other. Thing with the liquidity pools, because people don't understand that. So these DEX is the new technology that people are still unfamiliar with. They're familiar with order books and they're familiar with bids and spreads, the bid ask. And they don't understand that permanent automated market maker and the progression of the price due to the size of the liquidity pools. They don't understand that. So all of that is new. When we've got Pampy.app, okay, before we had Pampy.app to go check, how much money will take to move the prices, we used to go in and Uniswap and we could do spoof orders swap and we could see where approximately the price would move to. Okay. And then we had a guy that used to report all the time, like a bot. He would say it would take this much money to move Hex this much in price. So we had reporting on that. So we've been at the top of this for a very long time. We expect people to just jump off a centralized exchange and bridge in the Pulse chain and start.
No. We actually went as far as we had an app that you could put the numbers in and it would show you how you can move the price based on the liquidity.
Yeah, that's the Pampy.app.
Yeah, the Pampy app is out. That's what it was. That's right.
PAMPI.app if you want to play around with it. And the other thing is we know how to do spoof orders. You can put in X amount of money and you can see what your average price is that you're paying for your Hex, right? Or your average price for paying for whatever your tokens. You can see what the price impact is. It'll give you a percentage of what the price impact is going to be. Now you got to watch it because there are front running bots and there's slippage and there's all this other fun stuff like slippage and front running bots. Oh my, right? So there's stuff that we know that is just, we expect new users to just automatically absorb all of this information that we've spent the past 5 years learning and understanding. We expect people that are default fear to just be brave and just, shut up and do it, right?
Just come on.
Come on.
It's good.
Come on.
It's good for you. Trust me. Trust me, bro.
Take it. Yeah. And everybody knows that this space is full of bad information, right?
Yeah.
Just bad information in general. We know the spaces. We've got people that are experts. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Carl the Moon. You know Carl the Moon? Big crypto influencer. He's a grocery store cashier. That's what he did to make it big. He was a grocery store cashier. He bought Bitcoin early. He made his money off of Bybit trading links. M&M Crypto, taxi cab driver. That was his occupation, guys. These are your crypto influencers with the million followers and the Bybit links, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Are they product develop engineers? No. Are they product designers? No. What are they? They're literally not qualified to flip your burger at McDonald's, okay? This is the problem with the space. They started doing this during a time when nobody was talking about these things. They gained popularity very early, and they were literally reading scripts. When they get their sponsorships, they would go on to websites and literally, okay, I'll do a paid promotion, and they go to the website and they read it off to their audience. That's how much knowledge they had over the overall crypto space at that time. Now, look, I know the guys have more experience now, and I'm not trying to really be hard on them about it. That is their occupation. That is their education level. All right. That is where they come from. All right. We have doctors and lawyers and engineers and product designers and technicians and business owners and pirates.
Cosplaying pirates. Yeah.
We got all kinds of stuff. So, and a lot of us are older. You notice we're older because a lot of us are experienced.
Military. A lot of military.
We got a lot of military people that have seen worse bloodbaths than this crypto space. So, I mean, think about it for a second. Are you following some 20-year-old something kid or some 30-year-old that never grew up? Or are you following
or some guy who's losing his fucking marbles on stream every day?
Me or you? Anyway, look, I'm not whatever. Watch whoever you want for entertainment purposes. Enjoy. Yeah. Just do not put stock on people on your screen, guys. Anybody with a camera is a star now. Anybody with a fucking camera is a star. Okay? Yep. Anybody can be on TV. You used to actually have to do things to be on live TV and stuff. Like renowned stuff.
Now all you need is a cell phone that's in everybody's pocket.
And you remember that too. They made me get this computer. RG made me get this computer and get better internet. He made me do it. Because I literally, when I started Discourse Syndicate, I had no interest in streaming whatsoever. And RG would call me up. He'd be like, man, nobody's coming on tonight. You come hang out with me? Yeah. And I'd fire up my phone. I'd click the link. We learned streaming. Look at how quickly we all learned streaming. Look at how quickly we all learned how to navigate our StreamYard and be able to connect from our phones and stream from anywhere and do live streams and locations and connect with people all over the world. Look at how quick that developed over the whole the pandemic thing, So
yeah. And we're the biggest streaming community out there. I mean, no other cryptos community has as many streamers as we have.
Anything. Nobody believes in anything. That's the problem in the crypto space is nobody really believes in anything.
Yeah, and all of our streamers are not paid by exchanges and opportunists out there that are trying to break into the crypto space. And I have some good friends out there that are streamers that stream, in the greater crypto space, and they're paid, and I know they're paid. I've seen the list. I know who pays them, and they do what their handlers tell them to do. Just like you see Crypto Ran Man, who's the number one guy out there. He's paid. I saw at the Bitcoin event when he was streaming. It's all production value. It's all.
For instance, what did he do? He got $100 million locked into FTX. $100 million. He had all of his money locked into a centralized exchange. What do we teach people? Do we teach you to lock your money up on centralized exchanges?
Nope.
No, we don't. So even him, a guy that is top of the game, the #1 crypto streamer, made a rookie mistake. A rookie mistake by what? Chasing yield. Chasing yield why? Was it self-sovereign yield? No. He surrendered his coins to somebody else, and now he had that all locked up from him. And what did we try? We tried to teach him the ways of self-sovereignty, and he laughed us off.
They all laughed us off.
Yeah,
they all laughed at us.
Well, guess what? I didn't lose any money on FTX, Voyager, Luna, Babel,
Celsius.
I don't know.
They were the Celsius. The Celsius bros would not leave me alone, man. You got to get into Celsius. You got to get into. Man, it's just ridiculous that they didn't see the freight train coming while they were picking up those pennies. And,
no, they didn't see it at all. And even though we told them a billion times, we were the idiots. We were the idiots for holding our own coins. We were the idiots.
Yeah.
Still 100x off the bottom. So look. I know I say that, and people who have bought higher, and you're down, and that upsets you. But it's a 4-year cycle, not a 3-year cycle.
Yeah.
We haven't started season 2 yet. Let's see where you are 4 years from now. Okay? When you got your time in, let's see where you're at then. Then you can bitch about it. Okay? At the very beginning, there was no RG. There was no Johnny. There was no 170 streamers. There was no Sami. There was nobody out here doing any free work for anybody. It was just us. And everybody, instead of having everybody show up to come visit our streams, you know what we had? We had 100 trolls. We had 100 trolls. We had influencers sharing our clips and making fun of it.
In the hex.com Telegram room, it was half trolls, half hexicans. You know, it was, no matter where we went, it was trolls. It was trolls in our chat rooms. It was trolls in Telegram. It was, you know, we would go on stream with some of these streamers. They would let us go, and we'd get invites, and it was a hammering.
Yeah,
it was a hammering.
Yeah.
It wasn't a, hey, tell us what it is that you know. Tell us why, you know, you guys are so excited about this. Tell us, you know. And when we try,
why are you working for that damn scammer, and how much is he paying you? That's what it was.
Exactly. And that was
you're all gonna go to jail. I hope you all rot in hell. That's the reception that we got. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a little while there where Richard would actually interact with us and show up on stream and hung out in some of our Telegram rooms, and then he just said, "This isn't doing any good. Me being here. I'll stream and I'll teach you guys, but you know, I don't need to interact. You guys are building the community, not me. So have at it, you know." And he left us all to do what we've all done, and it's been organic. And SJ's funny. Gosh, RG sure looks chill for a guy who has a huge event coming up. Yeah, in 2 days. So tomorrow I leave for Vegas.
This is his idea, SJ. He called me up. He said, "Hey, I see you're streaming. I know you're in front of that computer. I'm going to get you."
Yeah. So any of you out there that want to come show up in Vegas, we're going to be so March 6th through the 9th. We're going to have a party on the 6th. DJ party, laser show, the whole shebang shaboom. And then if you want to show up early, come hang out at Cigar Bar with me on the 5th. I'll be there tomorrow night. Hit me a DM and I'll let you know where it's at. And yeah, we're going to be having all of the brilliant hexicans. We're going to have the treasurer of Nevada, Zach Conine, who wants to learn about DeFi. Like, the treasurer of Nevada is literally going to come and sit on stage and talk to us about DeFi, ask us questions, answer, what the politicians are going through right now, what the secretaries of state are going through right now, because he's very interested in crypto. And when he goes to these meetings where he's sitting down with all these other secretaries, they're asking him questions. They're asking him who his contacts are. They're asking him how he knows so much about crypto, because as far as politician goes, he's the most educated politician, in my opinion, out there that understands DeFi, because he's been tapping into all of us, trying to learn what DeFi is all about. I mean, look at the guy. The guy in our movie. Why is his name slipping me?
Clay?
our professor. No, not Clay. Our
Oh,
professor,
Black, Lamont Black.
Lamont. Yeah. So Lamont, I mean, he came in as skeptical as they come, as a guy who teaches, crypto and
Where does the value come from? I don't understand. It's like, dude, you're the crypto professor. What do you mean you don't understand where the where the value comes from? It comes from the network. It
and
comes from
he
the network.
and when he finally got it, it
Mhm.
clicked with him, and he became an advocate. And
He needs to package his game. He needs to package his game. I thought about a game. I've got an idea for a game that I think would be freaking hilarious. But he needs to repackage his hex game, because what they did was they designed a game based on hex so that he could teach his students on how to actually do it. He really package that and market it, because it'd be like a like a card game to play that hexicans could play at events. I think it would do really good if he did.
It's Hex, Pulse Chain, PulseX is the one of the greatest experiments in finance that I've ever seen. And it packages everything, all of the negative externalities. Well, not all of the negative externalities. Most of the negative externalities of the world of trading and stocks and savings accounts and CDs and market making and all of those things are wrapped up in such a nice package here. When you understand this like we do, and you really take a look at the outside world, or if you've ever had to function in it, if you've ever owned stocks or had a 401k or bought a home or had the market sentiment, puts you in a position where, yeah, you're ready to retire, but hey, the stock market dipped for the next 5 years when you're trying to retire and you can't retire. Those are all things that happen to real people out here in the world. And this has changed the game completely. This literally has the least amount of negative externalities in an asset class that I've seen anywhere on the planet. Nowhere on the planet can you generate the yield and be in such a safe position and see the benevolence of the market maker, the market makers and market maker, really adjusting the system to continuously get better and better and better and better, and a lot of these things that the OA has done, or, the benevolence of whatever team or person or whatever is behind Hex has done, has only provided, short-term pain to make long-term stability, gains, confidence, strength, foundation. The foundation, like you said, all of the things that we learned that people are now just starting to learn how to do 5 years later, we were bridging 5 years ago when nobody was bridging,
Right.
and now it's a thing, right? And now there's protocols being built to bridge to multiple chains and do all this other stuff and yada yada yada. We've come so far, we've learned so much, and this community really deserves a freaking standing ovation for being who they are and for teaching the crypto space. If they would have listened to us 5 years ago, the crypto space would be in a completely different place.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it now, liquidity farming, that's new too. And being, the X times Y equals K and understanding the liquidity pools and the ratios, that's new. Okay. Liquidity farming is new. Being able to borrow against your assets, that's new, right? So people don't even know this. All Hex ecosystem stuff, the Pulse, the PulseX, the Ink, even, you can borrow against those assets now. So if you are building a position in crypto, you can take real cash out based on your assets that you've earned, okay? And no bank can tell you no. The bank doesn't get to tell you no, you can't have a loan. We need a credit report, right? You're able to actually pool those assets. Obviously, you have to have a bank to deposit it in, or there's also other ways too. You can have an Old Glory account. You can put it on your card. You can use that card from your Old Glory account. So we have learned so much, and there's so much that people don't know how to utilize yet. People still do not know that they can be the exchange, that they can receive the fees. and they can earn bonus tokens on those fees, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what hex staking does. They don't understand a code because they think inflation bad, right? They think inflation bad. What's bad is who gets it.
Who gets it?
So is Bitcoin inflation bad because it's $400 million worth of sell pressure every month that the miners get, and you're their consumer? So is that good? Because you can't get any of the new coins. You're out.
Or is inflation that's going into a stake that's got to sit there for 15 years good?
Deferred, the dynamic deferred inflationary model is completely unique to Hex. It is revolutionary and it is awesome because that inflation that is capped at 3.69% is only producing less than 1% now, and actual inflation that actually increasing the supply. Now, people that are upset about that baseline being dropped down to 2 hex per day per T-share, in 4 years it'd probably be 8 again. And in 4 years, we don't know what the price is going to be. Exactly. So you got two options. If the price of Hex 4X's, you're making the same exact money at 2 hex per T-share that you were at 8 if you're looking at dollars, right? Or
always looked at it that way.
Or the price can continue to go up, right? So think about this, okay? Was it worth mining 50 Bitcoin blocks when they were only worth a penny?
Mm-hmm.
Was it worth mining 50? Was it worth the electricity to burn to mine 50 cents worth of Bitcoin? Yeah, because that was 50 Bitcoin. What's it worth today? So you in Hex are creating Hex for free today for future value, not today's value. So the wrong way to look at it is I'm making X amount of dollars per day in Hex. No, you're making X amount of Hex per day. And then that Hex is going to be at some point when that stake ends at a totally different value. We don't know what that value is. But again, we don't know what the value is. What we do know is we will have a bag when we get there and we get to find out. Or we don't stake it all. We sell in the next pump and then we can forget about future values because we won't have a bag when we get there. So it really won't matter anyway.
Won't matter. Right on. All right, Johnny. Thanks for coming on, man. I've got to go pack. I got a whole trailer to pack up and I'm sitting here streaming. So Vegas, where's the spot?
Idea. This was your idea. You caught me. It was your idea. Just remember that. You started this, mister. And
I had to get on one more time and I saw you streaming. So I said, I talked to Johnny before I get out. Cause I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up about this event. I'm fired up about the community coming together during this time. And with all the good news that has happened here, it's going to be nice to get with all the Hexkins. It's always a good time, no matter what. But with all the good news, with all the things that could be happening this week, I heard that the U.S. might even announce that long-term capital gains in crypto might be taxed at 0 on Friday. We might even hear that on Friday. I'll tell you what, that might be an insane day if that happens.
The way I look at it is like this, okay? Now, I don't like this jurisdiction scenario where, we drag Richard into this and say Richard's an American. But here's the thing. If you live in America and you are mining Hex, you are the miner in America creating your own Hex. So that should make it an American-made cryptocurrency if you are living in America and you are the one minting your Hex. So that's the way to look at it without getting too deep into it. That is American-made crypto. You are minting the new coins from where you are, from your computer.
Ain't no Chinese mining pool in charge of this stuff.
Chinese mining pool. No, it is the utility that you're using in America. If you're in America, you're using it in America, and you're minting coins in America. So it is an American-made if you're in America.
And one last thing, and some of the things about, I've been saying this for a long time. It's on my tagline. Hex is better than Bitcoin. You look at the inflation, there are stakes that are literally out there for 15 years that are going to be restaked for another 15 years. That's 30 years of deferred inflation.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is still going to be coming out for another 120 freaking years or some shit like that. So it doesn't matter if the inflation to the people alive today, it doesn't matter if Hex continues to inflate. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin has a set amount of Bitcoin that's going to come out. None of that stuff matters because look at what it did for gold. The scarcity model don't work. Hex is better than Bitcoin. We know that. We need to teach that. We need to come together. We need to build a stronger community. Instead of filling up a room at the Caesar's Palace, let's fill up the sphere and teach people about real DeFi, show them all these things that we've learned that now crypto's adopting, guys. We said it first. They laughed at us, and now they're all doing what we told them they should be doing. And that's because Richard taught us, Richard built products that we can do that with. And now here we are. It's still advancing. We have liquid staking on the protocol now. We have HSI stakes now. We have all these products, and they're just going to get better and better and better. Bitcoin has seen its day. It is now centralized. It's owned by Chinese miners. They have all kinds of negative externalities built into all of that system over there. BlackRock owns most of it. Now Hex belongs to you. Hex belongs to all of us. We make the market. We get to decide what's going to happen here. And we've got to go out and tell the world about it. And hey, go to pulsechaintour.com if you guys want to come hang out with us in Vegas and party and have a good time. Meeting and greeting and having conversations like this. We're going to have lots of conversations on stage. Oh, and if you can't be there, I really want you to come because having you guys there and meeting you and getting to know Hexicans is my favorite thing to do. But if you can't get there, we will be live streaming the event there. You won't get to party and do all that cool stuff, but you will be able to see the conversations, see the politicians talk, see the legal eagles talk. You're going to get to see everybody on stage presenting and also talking about what it is they're building on Pulse Chain, what their prognosis is for the legal stuff, for the regulations that's coming. All those things are going to be discussed. So go to pulsechaintour.com and you can actually live stream it for free. We're not charging anybody for it. We're giving that as a thank you to the community. And there's no paywall or anything. It's going to be live streamed for free. So next couple of days, the 6th and the 7th and the 8th will be that. And hey, for all you golfers out there, on the 9th, there's a golf tournament that's going to be given, I think over $25,000 in crypto right now, maybe even a little more by the time we get to the event. But it's going to be one of the biggest crypto prizes in a golf tournament. And if you're a golfer, come on out and you're close to Vegas, come on out and get on the golf course and see if you can win some crypto. All right, Johnny, thanks for coming, bro. Appreciate you, man.
We got one more thing because
go ahead.
We never went into this. We had the first real use case for NFTs. We've got the HSIs.
Yep.
An actual encapsulated stake. We had additional pools built that were a smart contract on a smart contract in order to allow people to pull together, right? So we've had all these additional innovations. So, and then you got a COSA that's built on top of Hedron. So we've got like 4 layers deep of things that have already been built on Hex. This is because of Hex. So it's amazing that they're so far behind, that they're still so focused on Hex being a scam, not realizing that literally all of these extra things were created in association with Hex as Hex as a base thing, even the investment trust, as we spoke about. So it's like we're so far ahead, they've got so far to catch up, and you got to feel bad for them. Just be patient with people, because everybody who thinks, you don't call people stupid and tell them they're dumb and give them the wrong impression. A lot of people have a lot to learn about crypto, and they're going to the wrong places to learn it. And they're never going to find the right places to learn it if we're going to punch them in the face every time they ask a question. So,
especially all these big influencers, guys, these big influencers out there, I know that they're rude. I know that they are uneducated. I know that they don't have our best interests or even their listeners and viewers' best interests in their hearts and minds. But you've got to be the better people. You've got to go out there and have good conversations with them. The memeing, the name calling, the you're an idiot, the fuck you, all that stuff. It's not helping. I know it feels good sometimes to blast these people in the face. Trust me, I've done it too. But we've got to be better, because we're really here to save the whole crypto space, because it's going to be 0 hour pretty soon. It's 0 hour. It is compromised, and we're not. And we're going to be the shining city on the hill one day. And we already know that. We knew that from the beginning. We thought we knew it in the beginning. We said, can it be? Will it happen? And then all these things happened. And we are the shining city on the hill. And people may not know it and may not recognize it. There may be a cloud around it right now. But one day the winds are going to blow. They're going to see it. And they're going to be running to this city to come and be part of it. I guarantee you. They're going to be standing in line to get your hex. They're going to be running to the city to come be part of it. And it's up to us to go out there and make this place some place that they actually want to be, some place they can feel safe, some place that they can feel like treated like Richard treated us. Richard treated us with respect and taught us what this stuff was all about. And that's why we have so much respect for him. It's not a cult. It's really about one person helping another. And that's all we're here to do. And none of us are paid to do so. We just are doing it all for the right reasons. So with that, thanks, Johnny. I'll catch up with you soon. Appreciate you jumping on with me, man. You're always a good one to talk to. All right, my man. I'll see you. Take care, everybody. We'll catch you on the next one. Let's see if I can do this here somehow. Blah blah blah. Man, boom boom boom. I'm on my phone, so it doesn't make it. It's not easy. See you guys.